The first thing you need to do is download VirtualBox. Once you're on the download page, select the version that matches your operating system. Since I'm using Windows, I'm going to choose Windows hosts. Once the VirtualBox installer finishes downloading, open it. If Windows asks for permission to make changes, click Yes. The setup wizard will appear. Click Next. On this page, you can choose which features you want installed. Use the drop-down menus to decide whether a feature should be installed locally, or left out completely. Once you're happy with the options, click Next. If any warning messages appear during the installation process, simply click Yes and continue. Then click Install. Give the installer a moment to finish. Once it's done, launch VirtualBox. And just like that, VirtualBox is installed and ready to go. At this point, you can close the installer and any download windows that are still open. Next, we're going to download MS-DOS 3.30. Choose the download mirror that's closest to your location. The file should download as a 7-zip archive. Once both downloads are complete, we're ready for the next step. Before continuing, make sure 7-zip is already installed on your computer, because we'll need it to extract the archives. Let's create a new folder to keep everything organized. I'll just make a folder here and move both downloaded files into it. Now we're ready to extract them. If you're using Windows 11, right-click the archive, choose Show More options, then find the 7-zip menu. If you're using Windows 10, the 7-zip options will appear directly in the right-click menu. Choose Extract Files. Once the extraction is finished, the original archive can be deleted. Now repeat the same process for the Windows 1 archive. After both archives have been extracted, you can remove the compressed files and keep only the extracted folders. The MS-DOS package contains 2 floppy disk images. The Windows 1 package contains 5 floppy disk images. Now we're ready to build the virtual machine. Open VirtualBox and click New. For the name, enter Windows 1. You'll notice Windows 1 isn't listed as an operating system option. That's perfectly normal. For the version, select Windows 3.1. Alternatively, you can choose Other and Use. Either option works, but I usually select Windows 3.1. Click Next. Choose the amount of RAM. Click Next. Create the virtual hard disk. Click Next. Then click Finish. Before starting the machine, there's one setting I like to adjust first. Open the virtual machine settings. Go to Display. Then increase the video memory slider all the way to the maximum value. I'm not going to pretend this magically fixes everything, but I usually set it to the maximum just to avoid potential display limitations. Once that's done, click OK. Now click Start. When the startup dialog appears, don't choose an ISO image. We're not using ISO files for this installation. Simply close the dialog. Next, open the floppy drive menu. Choose Select Disk File. Browse to the location where the MS-DOS files were extracted and select Disk 1. With the disk inserted, press right Ctrl+R to reset the virtual machine. When the boot screen appears, press Enter, then press Enter again. At the command prompt, type FDISK and press Enter. The partition menu will appear. Leave the default option selected. Choose Option 1. Select Option 1 again. Type Y when prompted. Once the partition has been created, make sure MS-DOS Disk 1 is still mounted in the floppy drive. Press any key to continue. Now type Format C and press Enter. When asked for confirmation, type Y and press Enter. Next, type CC and press Enter. You should see a message confirming that the system files have been transferred successfully. Now type Copy AC and press Enter. The files from the floppy disk will be copied to the hard drive. Once that's finished, insert the second MS-DOS disk. Now run the same copy command again. Type Copy AC and press Enter. The remaining files will be copied across. After that, insert the first Windows 1 disk. Now type Setup and press Enter. The Windows Setup program will start. Press C to continue. Leave the default Windows directory unchanged. Continue through the installation. When you reach the pointing device selection, choose No Pointing Device. Unfortunately, mouse support doesn't really cooperate here, so this is usually the safest option. For display settings, select option 6 to enable the best color support available. When prompted, insert the second Windows disk. Then insert the Utilities disk. If Setup asks whether you want to configure a printer, choose No. Next, insert the Desktop Applications disk. After that, insert the right program disk. Which should be the final disk required. Once setup completes, you'll see a message confirming that Microsoft Windows has been configured successfully. At this point, eject the floppy disk. Then press right Ctrl+R to restart the virtual machine. If you accidentally leave a floppy disk inserted, you'll likely see a non-system disk error. If that happens, either remove the disk or press F12 during startup and manually boot from the hard drive. Once the system boots, press Enter. Press Enter again. Now type to Windows and press Enter. Then type Win and press Enter, and there it is. Windows 1 is now running inside VirtualBox. Everything is working properly and the installation is complete. Whenever you want to launch Windows again in the future, remember that you can't just type Win immediately after booting. First, navigate to the Windows directory, then run the Win command. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.